is dedicated to helping you find the safe and simple approach to buying income-producing real estate. If you have any questions about the program or to arrange a consultation, call toll-free 888-595-7779.
Let's get this party started.
That's 888-595-7779. Now for today's edition of The Real Estate Show.
And hello, South Florida. Welcome to another live edition of The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show, all about, you got it, real estate. My name is Eric Willner, and I am your host here. We are live 5 days a week, 5 p.m. on the dot. That's Eastern Standard Time. And you are able to access us 5 different ways, AM, FM, on the apps, on our website at automaticlandlord.com. Probably the one thing you got to remember all the way along is automaticlandlord.com. Go there, go to the top of the page. You can listen to us live there as well. That's the 4th way. And you can also listen on demand to any one of our shows simply by going back in chronological order. You can see our shows going back literally years. So we got a great show for you today as we start off a brand new week here on The Real Estate Show. And if you're a regular listener of The Real Estate Show, you know that we start the week off with our Mondays on a Mission. We kind of talk about the direction of where we want to go this week. And I was going to go in one direction this morning, and then I had this incredible and very almost by accident meeting with a division of a company that is a specializing in the virtual reality world, and but not for games, in fact, but for businesses, and they have taken an extreme interest now in the real estate world, and so I was invited to go on a tour with this virtual reality platform where they've created a online virtual campus, in a business campus. But on the business campus, because of course it's virtual reality, it can be as big as you want. They have a university division. They have an HR area. They have everything from soccer fields to boats, docks, a lighthouse. I mean, it was really actually very, very cool to watch all of this kind of laid out and to go and visit. In fact, then, classrooms are going on live. So, in virtual reality, we go into the classrooms, we attend, you can raise your hand, you can look around, see who's there. I mean, it's about as close as being there without being there that I've ever seen. And that was very cool. And so it started to make me think about, the future of real estate. And we're going to talk about the future of real estate throughout the week. We're going to talk about it in a number of different ways. Number one, the new tools and the new ways of doing real estate, many of which you've seen change right before your very eyes right now during the pandemic, because we had to, right? The technology was there. It was available mostly for entertainment and used in certain applications. And yet in the second oldest profession that there is on earth, it never really touched us the way that it has in the last 18 months. And I'm very excited about it because I've experienced it and been using it and have been enjoying the benefits of all this extra technology. And then we had a next tour, and this is the next level, and this stuff isn't even out there yet. And you've heard of, virtual tours where somebody walks through with an iPhone and gives you the description of the property, and you can see it while someone is narrating it. You've maybe even seen the next level of that, which is a special sort of 3D version. And so you can go from room to room, and when you're in that room, you can look around, and it has a semi-real feeling to it. Well, the new and even more improved, it allows you to do any one of two things. Number one is that I can go and record that virtual reality tour in advance. So I can do a polished, professional, methodical walkthrough and it is as if you and I were walking together. You're looking out of your eyes. Then you can also do it separately where it's live, and we can walk through, and I can say, would you like to go this way? Would you like to go that way? And then we can go that way, go upstairs, downstairs, around corners, and do all sorts of interesting things that, again, simulate you actually being there. And remember, now I can do this, me sitting here in Florida, you sitting wherever you're sitting right now, without having to get into a car and drive around for a whole bunch of properties. And imagine if, after doing a great job of understanding what you're looking for, instead of you driving around all over town, what if I drove around having access to all of the back information, and I do my research, I narrow it down to the good properties, and then I do the virtual tour. And now, in reality, not virtual reality, but in reality, all you have to do is pick the property. But wait, it gets even better. So then we went to a showroom, and they can actually do different versions of this, but we can go into a showroom where we get to meet, and then we get to look at photographs of different properties. We can look at aerial maps to see about the area. We can get sort of a lay of the land, how we're close to shopping, and all of this stuff without leaving the comfortable air-conditioned showroom. And then up on the walls, there's a number of different photos of the different properties, or of a property, the surveys, all of the documentation that's necessary. And so we can go over to one wall where we can see all those things on there. And if we like, we can actually click on the wall. Imagine just, one of those touch sensitive screens, and say, okay, I like this house, get me approved. And again, without leaving this beautiful, comfortable area, now I go through the steps of getting approved. It reminds me, if you remember seeing, what was the Minority Report? Remember when they touched the screens? Everything was basically touching the screen, and so I could get my mortgage without leaving. And what's interesting about this is, back in, it was in the early 90s, I can tell you that much. And I had expressed in a meeting that I had a vision at the time, because we were buying the software at the time where I could do all of the property research, and therefore we could actually select all the different properties. And I was doing this more because of helping out investors that were looking for great properties with great returns. And so I could go and find all the properties, get all the details on the properties, photos at the time, and it was nowhere near as what it is like today. And then the customer would come into my office, sit around a conference table, and we could throw up the images up on the screen, the maps, all the good stuff. But it was, this was all 2D at that time. There was none of this 3D that we're seeing now. And then once we figured out on the type property, in fact, let me back up for a second, because I always get this question, and I always want to make this very, very clear. This is the old chicken and the egg question. What comes first, the home or the loan? And I will tell you that an experienced agent, an experienced loan officer, and an experienced investment advisor will always tell you that it is the loan, right? Because until you know what you can afford, why go looking for things, falling in love with something that you can't afford, or be outside of the comfort zone? Because it's one thing what you can afford, and it's the other thing that you want to afford. We had that conversation last week. So the customer, the investor would come to my office. We would take care of that part first. We would go over the finances, what kind of down payment, what kind of credit. And we weren't even as diversified as we were today, where we can fix the credit right there on the spot, where we could create and locate the down payment right there on the spot, and where we could then go right into the loan process, get a pre-approval. And again, at that point in time, there was not the instant desktop approvals that we can get today. So now we have what this vision was that I had over 20 years ago. And I said, I foresee a day where I won't leave my office. A client comes in, gets pre-qualified, picks a property, decides on the return, signs the paperwork. And I was still thinking in terms of, written signatures. And then off they go. Because since the beginning, since 22 years ago, when we started this radio show, I had a motto, and you hear it in my office all the time. I wanted to make real estate buying as easy as buying a CD, right? CD, you go to the bank, you don't go anywhere else. You go to the bank, you sign some paperwork, you write a check, and that's it. That's all you have to do. After that, you receive the money. In the case of a CD, you wait 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be, and then you receive your money. Real estate, so much better than that. You receive monthly income. You don't have to wait 5, 10 years. You receive tax benefits to shelter part of that income. Not true in a CD. But imagine if it could be just as simple and headache-free. And that's what the vision was. And we keep getting closer and closer to that literally being the case. In fact, I think we're pretty much there. Anyway, we're going to go ahead. We got more news headlines and stuff to start off the week. We're going to talk about the future of real estate. We're going to talk about how the future is happening right now. And this is a great time to be getting into real estate. This is a great market to be getting started in. And if you're a seasoned investor, you know that the real estate is solid. And you don't want to be waiting for this so-called bubble to burst, because you're going to be waiting quite some time, contrary to what the media and the foreclosure gurus would like you to believe, so they could sell lots more courses. Anyway, we're going to take a break, hear a few words from our sponsors. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner, and I will be right back. Cliff, how are you? Stan is there. Tobias, Mitchell. Hey, Rudy. So it's early, but how's your week going so far? It's been busy already today. And like I said, it was a real exciting meeting to kind of see the stuff that it exists. It's not out in the public yet. But I said, listen, I want to be on the front end of that. I want to bring this to our listeners. And so if you're interested in this, let me know. Go to our website at Automatic Landlord and give me what some of your thoughts are. If you're here on Facebook, put it in the comments down there, what you think about the future of real estate. We come back from the break. I'm going to talk about why the ultra wealthy are investing in U.S. farmland. Again, another picture of the future. And we talked about this when what was this, back in, was it, I think May? I think it was May, when we went out to go look at the Idaho project. 2,000 acre piece of land that we're buying, and in that process, leasing out for all sorts of different things, from mining gravel from the river to farming to a whole bunch of cattle, horses. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here on The Real Estate Show, my name is Eric Willner. I am your host here, as I have been for the last 22 plus years, through the good times and the bad times of the real estate market, and through the hot times or the great recessions or the great pandemics. It makes no difference. The Real Estate Show here has been and will be a beacon of light, especially for real estate investors out there. I often say, you might wonder whether this applies to you if you're just a homeowner. Take these concepts and apply them in your home ownership, and when you go to sell, you will realize a greater profit. You'll have a property that's more in demand, easier to sell, and like I said, the bottom line will be a better bottom line by taking in this, if you're just using this information as a homeowner. And all this information is great information to have as a homeowner, but maybe it'll tease you to think a little bit more about whether real estate ownership in addition to your home might not be right for you. And it is how more Americans have created better retirement. More millionaires have been created by buying real estate. And another article that kind of caught my eye while we were preparing for this, and we were talking about the future of real estate. Why do you think that some of the wealthiest people, remember back in, I think it was May or June, when we went out to Idaho to go take a look at a 2,000 acre property that we're involved in, and it's phenomenal, and it is and the market hadn't been as exposed as it has now, and now you can just if you Google the word Idaho and real estate, you'll see nothing but article after article of what a white hot market that's turned out to be. So whether it was great investment analysis or just plain good luck, this property here that I was talking about that we were out at turns out to be a phenomenal investment with great cash flow. And the neat thing about it, there was a full on purchase of about 2,000 acres. I think they sold off already about 200 acres, returning a lot of the original investment. That's how hot this is. But now they're using the farmland and leasing out the farmland, renting out for cattle. They're mining the river for gravel, for roads and things like that, for sand, for cement. It's amazing all the different uses. And then I saw this article, and this was just published on Friday. And the title of the article was, "Here's Why the Ultra Wealthy like Bill Gates and Thomas Petterfy are investing in U.S. farmland." U.S. farmland. And you're hearing, and I'm hearing this over and over, rock stars, wealthy investors are buying up land, farmland, and what used to be out there in nowhere. But check out the business behind this. And this is why you want to get more information. In fact, if you do want to get a little bit more information, then you can text here at the Real Estate Show and text the word equity, EQUITY, to our smart line, 561-861-2366. And I'm going to send you a copy of this article along with some other information about why buying real estate right now, whether it be farmland or houses right in your neighborhood, is the timing is, it sounds contrary because of all the similarities that people are trying to assert between the hot market, the low inventory that there was in 2008. But I will tell you that we've done our research, and we've done it over and over, that there is, that's where the similarities end. We have a very solid base in terms of defaults, where defaults got up to be all close to 25%. Default rate now is less than 5%, way less than 5%, by the way. When we look at the interest rates are lower, the demand is stronger, the job market is stronger. We're almost back to full employment now, and yet there's still people that are still at home, not fully employed. So just imagine what happens when they release the brakes. So the U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates that 30% of all farmland is owned by landlords who don't farm themselves. 30%, almost 1/3. Buyers often purchase land from farmers who have owned it for decades, many of whom may be asset rich. They're sitting on a ton of great equity, but often cash poor because they got to maintain that. And the return that they were getting on all of those assets has been very low. So the article goes on to say, investments in farmland are growing across the country as people, including the ultra wealthy like Bill Gates, look for new ways to grow their money. And trust me, they're not making mistakes very easily here. These guys are very well equipped, an army of analysts, lawyers, and financiers. In 2020, Gates made the headlines for becoming the largest private farmland owner in the U.S., the largest. He had accumulated some 269,000, and I just talked to you about a 2,000. It sounded big. He's got 269,000 acres of farmland across 18 states that he's accumulated in less than a decade. His farmland grows onions, carrots, and even the potatoes that are used to make McDonald's French fries, just to give you an idea of the diversity. And I was telling you some of the other uses that farms can really be useful for. Don't forget, some of them are used for sun farms. We'll get into that, which is an income generating asset on top of everything else. So they go on to say, the American Farmland Trust CEO, John Piatti, it's an asset with an increasing value. It has great intrinsic value. And beyond that, it is a limited resource. And remember, the need for food, shelter, and transportation. Real estate now is covering two of those. And this is the cool expression that I just saw. And I started seeing like WFH. Right? No, I just didn't swear on the radio. Don't worry. But they were calling it WFH housing. What does that stand for? Anybody want to guess? They are on our Facebook page, WFH housing. I'll come to that in just a second. I'll give you guys a chance to answer that one. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, like I said, estimated 30% of the farmland is owned by landlords who don't farm themselves. Buyers often purchase land. The economic realities for them is typical that they spent their life farming it, right? Probably accumulated more land along the way, assets. They're doing fine. Approximately 39% of the 911 million acres of farmland across the U.S. is rented out to farmers, and 80% of that rented farmland is owned by landlords who don't farm it themselves. So who'd have thunk, who knew, right? Did you know that was such an incredible business? And as now you're looking and you're seeing huge amounts of money invested in the real estate, and way more. Remember what I'm talking about, some of these hedge funds and these assets, they can't find enough single family homes. And when they find out about this, and that they can get returns, and that the same farm that can offer water, a river running through the farmland, which provides irrigation to the farm, but can also provide water, can provide sand, can provide gravel, can even produce its own power as well. So you've got solar power, you've got water, or hydropower. It's limited only to the creativity of the investors that see some of these opportunities in there. So you go buy a farm and you put the cash rental lease in place, you're going to be looking at maybe not the highest returns. And so Mario just got it right there. I see WFH stands for work from home. And we've had lots of discussions here on the air about that. And by using their homes to become not only their shelter, not only work from home. And so now you're probably going to see, WFH certified homes that have, extra internet, they have extra broadband or whatever it is that they need, access and different resources, how the house is laid out, wired both electrically as well as internet and everything else. You'll see all of that become big selling points. But like I said, buy a farm and you put the cash rental lease on it. It's just like owning. But hey, at this point, they're leasing the land. There's no plumbing to fix. There's no roofs that leak. Think about this. So this could be a very interesting area to invest in. You talk about hassle-free when you basically turn over the land. And usually the operators provide their own equipment and whatever they need in terms of storage facilities, etc. Something to think about. Again, text the word equity if you want a copy of this article, plus with the additional research that we're doing here. I think this could become a very interesting investment for those out of the box investors out there. So we've got a whole bunch of articles along this route, and there's so much going on in the real estate. And so you want to hear what the future of real estate is? Listen to it right here. Tune in Monday through Friday. That's 5 days a week, right here at the Real Estate Show. You can text us. You can the word equity to 561-861-2366. You can always reach out to us on our website at automaticlandlord.com as well. So that's it for today. This is your host, Eric Willner, signing off for the Monday edition of the Real Estate Show. See you again Tuesday. Until then, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Real Estate Show, brought to you by
You will. Thank you very much. Move that back.
Are available to assist you with your financial needs. If you have any questions about today's program or to arrange a consultation, call toll free at 888-5.
And that stream.